Young Turks, you guys. Now, you may be expecting to see Jake Huger in this seat, but instead you got J.R. Jackson. I mean, we sent him out, we pushed him out of town because it's time for me to take over the show a little bit. And to start off my time taking over the show, I'm very happy to be joined by a 12-year NFL veteran, 3-time Pro Bowler, author, Warrick Dunn. How you doing, man?
I'm good, man. I'm good. How you doing?
Pretty good. The book is called Running for My Life, My Journey in the Game of Football. And it starts off, it jumps right in, really.
It jumps right in. It attacks you. The first chapter talks about my encounter with the guy who shot and killed my mom in Angola prison. Mm-hmm. So we get right after. We just really try to engage the audience who's reading the book. Mm-hmm. So it's a great, to me, I just think it's a great story on just my journey, the different things that I've been through, but also sitting down face to face with the guy who shot and killed my mom, but just really just talking about the ups and downs of my life. So it's more of a memoir, not really a football book, but it's more of a memoir of my life. Just the struggles that I've been through, being depressed, going to counseling, overcoming that, just the ups and downs with the family, just life experiences.
And those of course were changed, affected, put into play when that all happened back when you were 18, right?
I was 18 years old, 2 days after my 18th birthday. So my mom was shot and killed. She was making a routine night deposit. She was working extra duty as an off-duty police officer at a local grocery store, and she was making a routine night deposit because they go and deposit money at nighttime, and guys opened fire. They ambushed her. So it was an event that has changed my life dramatically just from a phone call. So
14 years, as I went through that first chapter, and I'd heard about the book and I hadn't read it yet, and then I went through that whole first chapter and I said, this it's one of those ones where you're expecting something and you get something completely different. So 14 years after he shot and killed your mother,
right,
or that this ambush happened with multiple guys. Right. It was three main guys involved.
Well, it was 2 guys at the shooting. 1 guy drove the getaway car, and a 4th guy, they actually just planned it at his house. So, you know, 2 guys on death row right now in Angola. 1 guy, he was in prison for about 13 years. He's out now. So it was just a tragedy, and it's just something that happened that I've had to try to overcome, and you deal with throughout the years with the ups and downs, and like I said, not being totally happy, just keeping all the emotions and the feelings inside. So
after 14 years after it happened, you decided to go and visit him. That's what the first chapter is. It talks about how he went out and actually talked to the man who was on death row.
Yeah.
And the emotion that started, it wasn't just throwing him right in, I'm there. The build up with getting out there, the drive, the look of everything that's happened, the people you have to go and meet with, the fact that you look up and you see what it actually is to feel like, and then actually the questions in your head of that everyone else was asking you amongst professionals with you, people growing up, the rest of you have 5 brothers and sisters.
Right.
So then you go in and try and basically, do you feel like you had to, first off, wondering what he's going to think when you get there? He knows who you are.
Right. Well,
at least you would assume so.
Well, you know, he knew who I was, but what was interesting is that he wanted to meet with me also. So it was kind of different, and it's in a unique situation. So he agreed to meet with me, and it was just weird. You walk into the room, the guy that I recognized in court, that I knew in court, I didn't recognize him that day. It'd been that long, a lot has changed. So it was one of those meetings that, it built up with the emotions, didn't know what was going to happen, what to say, how I was going to react to anything. And you know, before I went in, I found out that he's not going to answer all of my questions. So, I mean, he was on appeal, so he's not going to answer the question, you know, did you shoot and kill my mom? He wasn't going to say yes or no. I mean, he wasn't going to answer those questions.
Because did you already know the situation as far as the fact that he was going to be, that he had multiple appeal process and he was going to go through another?
Yeah.
So you went in there kind of, you still had, that was my favorite part of the chapter, it was right near the middle, where you listed the questions that you just kind of jotted down, not even just jotted down, just the ones that have been run through your head that in those multiple years
right
waiting to get to talk to.
Well, I did have a list of questions that I wanted to ask, and before we went into the room, his attorneys was like, well, he's not going to answer certain questions, so just not going to do that because of the appeal process. And what was crazy is that I had to throw all that away and just really come to grips and figure out what I was going to say. So I just really went off the cuff a little bit at the top of the head, and I tried to share with him some of the emotions and the feelings that I had over the years and some of the questions that my family had. And I knew he wasn't going to answer. So he said he wasn't the guy. I expected him to say that. Okay. But it was important for me to go and to tell him, you know what? It's been so many years. You've had so much control over my life. I want to take that back. I forgive you. And I just think that was shocking to him.
So yeah, so also he probably wasn't even expecting, and the second guy that was going to be there ended up not being there anyway. So it wasn't a matter of, and then so after that point, after you read those questions off and no one could even really say anything, right. It was just a matter of you had to address what you needed to be there for, because it wasn't just for that purpose, to try and get him to break down, or to, even if that would have been good to hear, that maybe would have completed it. You still had to do something for yourself.
Well, what I had to do for myself, I was searching for answers, and I had to get so much frustration and anger and all the stuff that I had built up inside for so many years. I wanted to try to display to him, this is how this one incident has affected every aspect of my life. And I wanted to try to convey that in a way that he really understood that my life changed dramatically. He affected every aspect of my life. So I think before I left, he understood that. He can see it. He can see that I was searching for answers. I was on a journey because I need to become at peace so I can move forward. And that was just a step for me to get to that point. Okay, so also they ran through with you the way that it would all be done. Is that it's just on the general topic of death row and just in person seeing it? Right. Did your mood change about how it's done? Whether or not because it's one of the debates in the country, whether or not that's works or what right. The use of it is. If it's based on families that want it, because there's a space where the families can sit and watch right. to see it happen, so that maybe it brings them some kind of resolution, for some revenge, maybe for others, and it's just a toss up to guess what it is. And I did find out you don't want to be there. No, I don't want to be there. I don't care to be there. He's going to get his just due, and I just think the whole process. If you take a life, you're judged before your peers, in a sense, in court, where they convict you or they say you're guilty or not guilty. And they say your life in prison, or you supposed to be electrocuted or ejected. And it wasn't my choice, but that was chose from a jury that felt like he's guilty and that he should suffer the same consequences. Now,
I've in trying to relate to things like this, I've imagined, which I don't like to,
right.
Something that's actually the similar situation when I hear about these death row cases. Like, now, if my mother was brutally killed by someone, not only would I wouldn't want to sit there and watch it either, but the problem is I think it'd be hard for someone else to decide that for me, which is why I would probably detach myself from it, because as bad as it sounds, I would want my hands to be on him, to take care of that. Even though it's one of the I think it's one of the natural things about humans. That's why I think some of us want to have that, at least get that out of the way, so we won't think that this guy's still around to do it again, even though he could be in jail the rest of his life.
Well, I just feel like anytime you have something of that magnitude that happens, the first thing that we want to do is retaliate. We want to go in and pay retribution because of what happened to us. So. And you can't think that way, unfortunately. You have to know that the justice system is there for a reason, and you have to believe in it. And we may not always agree with how things are done, but the rules and laws are made and set for a reason, so we can have some guidelines. And it's one of those things where I had to adjust, my thought process and what I felt like, because I wanted retaliation. I wanted to do the same thing that he did to my mom, but also knowing the big picture that he's going to get what he deserves. I mean, God is watching all of us, and sometimes we can get away with little things, but in the end, it catches up with you. And for him, it caught up with him, because even in that hour and a half that we sat down and talked, he was just like, you know what? I would have probably been dead if I still would have been on the streets already. I mean, he's alive only because he's on death row. And, I think things do happen for a reason. Right.
So, well, luckily, you're not as volatile as I would have been. and instead, in your mother's, at least in your mother's memory, is a Home for the Holidays program that you established, also underneath the Warrick Dunn Foundation. That's warrickfoundation.org. And that was actually the Homes for the Holidays was established in '97. And what does that do?
Well, the Warrick Dunn is the Warrick Dunn Foundation. The program is called Homes for Holidays, and what we do is we assist single parents into becoming first-time homeowners, and that's giving them the down payment, but also putting food, furniture, linens, garden tools, etc., etc. We've been around for 12 years. The first 5 years, it was just a program. When I signed with the Atlanta Falcons in 2002, I turned into a foundation. So we've been around for 12 years. We have 4 markets: Tampa, Atlanta, Baton Rouge, and Tallahassee. We've helped 84 single parents and 224 kids during those 12 years. And it's the reason I started the program is because it was my mom's dream to own her own home, and she never had the opportunity. So I want to be able to live out her dream through other single parents. And out of the 84 parents we help one single father. So we want to help all spectrums, not just single mothers, but also single fathers.
Yeah, because that was one of the updates I did read about, was that it has expanded to the single father side of things. So then, because I don't know, it seems like even though of course we know there's many single mothers out there, that there's single fathers that had to handle their business by themselves too. You know?
Well, you do have some fathers who are stepping up to the plate and taking care of their responsibility. And you have to commend those guys for that. But also I commend them because they're seeking help. Most of the time as men, we're just too proud to ask for help or to seek advice sometimes. And for the men who out there who are asking for assistance, in a sense, to just better their situation and put them in a position where they can be successful and just really change their outcome in their life, but also their kids' outcome. So it's to me, I think it's a great program because we're able to bring stability to a family's life, to a mother's life, and change her outlook, her self-esteem. She wants to be more than just a mother. She wants to be everything to her family. I mean, it helps the kids, and helping those guys have better assistance in making grades. Their self-esteem is a lot better. They tend to care about things that normally, when you don't have anything that's not yours, you're kind of careless with. I think this program, and it's proven because we did academic study, that it touches the community. It brings change, and when you have that, it's to me, it's just nothing but a lot of positives.
Do you choose particular areas or communities where you may think it needs it more than others? At least as far as a community based, like you'll choose a home where someone maybe is it where they already live based, or they choose it, or does it have to be in a spot where at least there needs to be some kind of inspiration pumped into communities? Because it's a lot of times that's what's sucked out, I think.
Well, for me, the reason that I've chosen the 4 communities, Tampa, Atlanta, Baton Rouge, and Tallahassee, is because I've lived there, I've experienced it, and I have ties to that community. But we've tried to get other guys in other communities to be a part of it. But for me, I don't choose the homes. The foundation we don't choose the homes. We let the parents choose their own home, and sometimes they don't even know they're getting the house. It's a surprise. So we go through Habitat for Humanities because the families have to go through a rigorous process, getting approved for a loan, but also doing community service, clean up their credit, maintain the job. I mean, they have to do so much to get to the point. And I'm there as it's like Santa Claus year round. I'm giving them that boost that they're going to need to eliminate the failure aspect of it. I mean, if our success rate for the foundation, we've had 1 out of 84 in 12 years to default on a loan, and the mom passed away. So the success rate of the foundation and program is huge, and we pretty much just help those guys who are trying to help themselves. So it's a successful program, and I have to thank Habitat, because Habitat does a lot in preparing the families, the parents, the right way, making them earn it, and keeping them on the right track.
It's not a direct just giveaway situation, and it's like it starts them off, and then they handle what they can handle. It's
people who are trying to help themselves, and when you can help someone who's trying to help themselves, to me, they tend to care more about what their future is going to hold. I mean, yeah, they may be paying a little bit more in rent, but now it's a mortgage they're owning. I mean, not just rent. So it's to me, it's a huge stepping stone, and giving people the American dream, because we all want to own our own homes, and this gives those guys their American dream, a little equity that they can use down the road if they want to better their situation.
Has this gotten any harder or easier based on since past 2 years, year and a half with the housing market? Has this made at least that part of it harder? And because who knows, maybe there's so many foreclosed homes happening on a normal basis from everyone. Does that make different homes available? Like just in general, maybe that's
these homes are. It hasn't affected what we do. I mean, when you think about foreclosed homes, you think about the $400,000, $500,000, $600,000 homes. I mean, these homes under $200,000. It's reasonable. They have good credit. I mean, they've done enough work to put themselves in a position. So we're not going to put someone in a home or put them in a position to fail. We're going to put them in there to be successful. And like I said, we've done a great job, and Habitat has done a great job.
Okay. Well, all that now the fun side for me at least.
Well, it's all fun though. You know,
Yeah.
when you have opportunity to change someone's life and you can see that effect. I mean, to me, that's bigger than anything dealing with anything else in this world, because you've had an outcome on how someone's future is going to be. You have input on that. It's like you have your own kid. I mean, if you can direct those guys in a way for them to be successful, I mean, that is a blessing itself. So, I mean, for me to be able to help 84 single parents obtain a goal, a dream of home ownership, I mean, I've done more than I probably would have done if my mom was still here. So I had a tragedy that I've taken a tragedy and made a blessing for a lot of other people.
That was the one thing about after you left release meeting with the man on death row. Has it been a direct, at least, that you can consistently tell since then? Because you said you struggled with it most of your life.
Right.
So then, ever since then, you said you felt the relief. Is that still a struggle sometimes? It still comes back every once in a while? Because some people, it's been with you so long, you know.
Well, you're going to have your times to where you're going to reflect on your past. That's just natural. We're all a human. But I have more bright days than bad days. My bad days are so much more or less today than they ever have been. I mean, I had so many bright days in my future and just things to smile about and be rejoiced about, because I am at peace. I mean, I'm so much more of a happier guy, someone who laughs, smiles, just who's enjoying life. That guy wasn't that way 5 years ago. So it's been a process for me to continue to moving forward. But you do have your moments to where you're going to reflect. And listen, I miss my mom to death. I wish she was here to see and experience and to see my growth, but also her other kids, because it's important to those guys. So you do have your moments, but I've been blessed. I've been blessed to have done the things that I've done all my whole career. So I'm not just fortunate, but I'm truly blessed to be able to touch people in a way that I've taken my mom's dream and affected so many other people's lives in a positive way.
Well, speaking of that dream, 11,000 yards almost rushing between the Buccaneers, the Falcons, and back to the Bucks, going into your 13th season. Now? You're a free agent right now.
I'm a free agent,
and as of right at the end of February. So is there? Well, actually, first off, I was at the Super Bowl for the first time ever, just this past Super Bowl in Tampa, and I'm sure you're familiar with that town. So I was running around there, having my fun there, and first of all, was that, I don't know, I like to rank Super Bowls. First off, my favorite one was the Rams and Titans, because the Rams are my team. I'm from St. Louis. But did you, where would you put that one? Because in the past, two have been excellent.
Well, I just felt like when you have the two best teams, and those guys were both and deservingly so the two best teams at that time playing at a high level, you're going to get a great game. No one limped into the playoffs or limped into the Super Bowl. So it's it definitely ranks high. Everyone talks about the Rams, the Tennessee game in Atlanta, but like you said, the last two have been great. And that's all you want in Super Bowls. I don't really care who wins because I'm not there, but you just want to see a great game for the fans. That's what keeps guys into it. That's what keeps you on your feet.
Now also, and as you were saying, some teams didn't limp in. Some people didn't expect Arizona to get there just because they were Arizona. And they start off, they did well, and then they were in that division where so many teams were struggling all season. But then as soon as they get near the end of the season, once they clinch, things start falling apart. So every game they won in the playoffs was what? Seriously, Carolina? How did they?
Yeah, that Carolina thing. Was
exactly. So one of the understories that I liked seeing was the way Edgerrin James wasn't getting many carries, and it was obvious he was upset about it, and everyone's saying he's old, and I was saying, well, if he gets the ball, I'm sure he can show that he's not old. And you're 34 at this point, right?
I'm 34.
So the fact that it's mind-boggling to me at 32, 33, 34 years old is, he's starting to slow down in the league. is that when you saw that happen? I don't know what the mindset is with other running backs that know they can still do what they've been doing their whole lives, and you see that happen. Did you go, well, of course he can carry the ball? And I feel like sometimes people just overlook the fact that he's a professional. Of course he can carry the ball.
Well, I just think sometimes that whole stereotype of for running backs, when you get older, just the wear and tear over the years of getting hit, that you do wear down. That's just natural. I mean, the position is a tough position to play. But I think for Edgerrin this past year, he wasn't getting a lot of carries early in the season, so he wasn't wearing himself out. Once the playoffs got here, he was still, to me, I think, fresh and still running well. So he peaked at the right time to show people he could still play the game. Now, if he was carrying the ball 200, 300 times throughout the season, then that's a different story. So I can't really answer that. But over time, your body you do wear down, you do slow down a little bit just because of the wear and tear. The position is tough. So Edgerrin did a great job, and I was happy for him that he was able to show people that he could still play the game, because I feel the same way. Maybe I can't carry the ball 25 times a game, but I can be effective on the right amount of plays to be successful and still be a threat.
So with that, is there any, I don't know if you can even tell, what type of situation, maybe specific teams, coaches you may want to play for that if you worked with before that are in different places? Because it seems like every year there's a coaching carousel with coordinators and head coaches, and sometimes people in their positions. And then we find out how people have relationships with other people. I don't know if there's a certain situation you'd like to be in, coming this next year.
You know what? I haven't been to the playoffs in 4 years. I'm just to the point now. I just want to, if I can get with a team and be a part of a team that can get to the playoffs. That's all. I just want to get to the playoffs. Anything can happen in the playoffs. So I just want to get with a team that gives me the best opportunity to get to the playoffs and win the Super Bowl. I don't really care where it's at. I just want to win. And maybe I'm not the main guy, but I want to be able to contribute playing the game. I mean, I still love the game, still have a lot left in the tank, but I know that it's important to me winning. I mean, I've done a lot. I've accomplished a lot in my career, yards, stats, all that stuff. I just want to win today.
So as we've seen, actually, there's a lot of duos is what it's turned out to be. It used to be just there was a one running back thing. Even when you get it, the Giants had 3 of them at one point running around. Yeah. You had it down in New Orleans. And everybody's kind of getting that spot, so that doesn't, even the younger guys that are 2-3 years in, they need to get their experience maybe from the older guy who isn't going to carry the load all the way. So actually, I'm speculating. I want to see where it ends up now, actually, because then when I read about it now at the beginning of March, where it may end up with you for next year, but that's just my little thing. So thank you. It was Warrick Dunn, and the book again is Running for My Life: The Journey in the Game of Football, where it just talks about just starting off with the main tragedy that changed his whole life, and how you took off from there, and how really it can inspire people that may have had a similar situation. Really.
Well, it's like I said, it's a book. It's a memoir, pretty much, of what I've been through since my mom passed away. Talking with the guy on death row, but also the ups and downs, the trials and tribulations of family, battling depression, going to counseling, and overcome that. But I think it's a story that is real inspirational. It's therapeutic. I think people can learn a lot. And knowing that even though I'm an athlete or a celebrity in the sense that I am human, I have issues, I have situations just like anyone else, and that I did seek counseling, that I am vulnerable, that I am human.
It's hard for people to understand that, especially as a football player.
Yeah, because we're supposed to be big and tough and strong, but we are human just like anyone else. So I just want people to go out and just get the book, read it. I mean, they're going to really enjoy the book, I think, and learn a lot about Warrick, but also just about the different things in life that they may be going through something similar, that maybe reading my book can help those guys in ways that I can't even describe. So I just think it's a book that's therapeutic and inspirational.
And also the Warrick Dunn, WarrickDunnFoundation.org is also, you can get the book there at the bottom of that. I saw that on the homepage. And I'm sure we'll probably throw it up on it. We have a library on the Young Turks website, which is the library of all the books that we like to push for everyone that has going on. So that's that. Thank you very much again.
I appreciate it.
It's excellent meeting you.
Thank you.
For sure. We'll be right back.